music world is mourning the loss of a legend after Brian Wilson, the creative force behind the Beach Boys, has died at the age of 82, according to a statement from his family. Now, reactions and tributes are pouring in from his peers in the industry, with many iconic artists paying tribute to Brian Wilson during this difficult time. Here's what we know. Brian Wilson, the creative leader behind the Beach Boys, whose signature harmonies helped create the sound of summer, has died at the age of 82. Wilson's family confirmed the news on his official website Wednesday. In a statement, they said, "We are heartbroken to announce that our beloved father, Brian Wilson, has passed away. We are at a loss for words right now. Please respect our privacy at this time, as our family is grieving. We realize that we are sharing our grief with the world. Love and mercy." The announcement comes just months after Wilson was placed under a court conservatorship to manage his personal and medical affairs following the death of his beloved wife, Melinda. As the oldest of three musical brothers, Brian Wilson was the main creative force for the legendary Beach Boys. From their family garage in Hawthorne, California, he guided his brothers Dennis and Carl, his cousin Mike Love, and friend Al Jardine from a local act to global superstars. Early hits like Surfer Girl, I Get Around, and Fun, Fun, Fun established the band as the key architects of the California sound. But Wilson's ambitions soon grew beyond the simple themes of sun and surf. After a panic attack on a flight in 1964, he quit touring with the band to focus only on the studio. This decision led to a period of intense creativity, which resulted in the 1966 masterpiece, Pet Sounds. Working with the famed session musicians known as the Wrecking Crew, Wilson crafted a personal and groundbreaking album. It was not a huge seller in the US at first, and its sophisticated and melancholy sound puzzled some members of his own band. But in the UK, it was praised as a work of genius and actually inspired the Beatles to create Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Paul McCartney has called the ballad God Only Knows as one of the greatest songs ever written. Wilson then started his most ambitious project, an album he called Smile, which he described as a teenage symphony to God. The recording sessions were difficult, marked by Wilson's increasingly erratic behavior, alleged drug use, and creative clashes with his bandmate, particularly Mike Love, who was skeptical of the abstract lyrics. Under intense pressure and with his mental health getting worse, Wilson abandoned the project in 1967. The album became one of the most famous unreleased records in music history. What followed was a long period of public withdrawal and personal struggle for Wilson, which included a controversial conservatorship under therapist Eugene Landy. For many fans who respected his genius, this was a difficult and confusing chapter in the life of a man who had given them so much joy. But against the odds, Brian Wilson returned. In the late 90s, he began touring again, and in 2004, he did what many thought was impossible. He finished Smile. Backed by a band of brilliant young musicians, Wilson toured the album to sold-out crowds and wide acclaim, finally bringing his lost masterpiece to the world. It was a major moment that solidified his legacy. Though he feuded with bandmates and battled his own mind at times, Brian Wilson's music was an expression of both beauty and longing. His work inspired generations of artists, from Bruce Springsteen to Animal Collective, and he leaves behind a catalog of music that will forever be tied to the sound of summer. And again, those unique vocals and harmonies that the Beach Boys brought to the table, and Surfin' USA, and all of these iconic and timeless songs will really live on forever. And he left such an indelible mark on music, as is evidenced by the number of tributes that are now pouring in. I want to read you just a few from so many major artists paying homage to the great Brian Wilson. Gene Simmons shared in a statement, "Sadly, Brian Wilson has passed away. Songwriter visionary. Thank you for a lifetime of wonderful melodies that span decades. I'm going to spend the day listening to the Beach Boys and reminiscing." John Corabi shared, "The genius has left the building. Rest in peace to Brian Wilson, the genius behind the Beach Boys' masterpiece, Pet Sounds. We're losing our heroes. Rest and ease your mind, Brian." Drummer Mike Portnoy shared, "Wow, absolutely shocked to hear that the legendary Brian Wilson has passed away. Paul McCartney has often said that if there were no Pet Sounds, there'd be no Sgt. Pepper, and that he thought God Only Knows was one of the most beautiful songs ever written. This is surely a big one. Rest in peace, Brian Wilson. Rest in peace, reunited with your brothers, Dennis and Carl." And Mick Fleetwood shared, "Anyone with a musical bone in their body must be grateful for Brian Wilson's genius magical touch, and greatly saddened of this major worldly loss. My thoughts go out to his family and friends. Mick Fleetwood and the Fleetwood Mac family." Just a heartbreaking loss here for the music world. So many tributes pouring in, and I'm sending my thoughts and prayers out to his family, friends, and loved ones during this difficult time.